108. And with me now is CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, it is 101-95 with 30 seconds to go. Everybody can see that the Rockets are going to win this game. So walk me through what happened that allowed the Lakers to steal this one on the road to go up 3-0.
Yeah, what happened was the Rockets gave their season away. It's over. The season is over for the Rockets, and they're going to look back at that last 30 seconds when they were up 6 with the ball and rue the day that they let Jabari Smith just casually toss away a turnover. He does that. Then Jae'Sean Tate makes the critical error of fouling Marcus Smart on a 3-ball. If he didn't do that, and if Jabari Smith hadn't done that, they probably won this game. Instead, Marcus Smart makes all 3 free throws. And then you saw the play there where Reed Sheppard has a turnover that leads to the LeBron 3 that ties the game. Then they go to overtime, and then they fall apart in overtime. I mean, when you're up 6 with the ball with 30 seconds left at home, when you're down 2-0, knowing that if you go down 3-0, it's a wrap, that you absolutely need that game in order to keep your season alive. And you make one critical mistake after another critical mistake after a third critical mistake, you know what? You probably don't deserve to be in the playoffs. And they're going to look back at this and think, we had a failure of roster construction. They didn't have any point guards. They didn't have any ball handlers. They didn't have anybody to initiate the offense. All that is true. But those mistakes by Jabari Smith and then Jae'Sean Tate and then Reed Sheppard are the reason why the Houston Rockets season is over.
Listen, teams were 1 in 1,084 entering this night when you're trailing by 6 or more points in a playoff game with under 30 seconds to go. It's just unfathomable, John, how the Rockets find ways to lose. Like, even though they came back from down 15, to have that lead is just really soul-crushing. But on the other side, LeBron James, and I get we talk about him so much, but what he's doing is not normal, okay? This time he almost had 10 turnovers, but again, you can probably grade him on a curve because you're not expecting him to be perfect. And then Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart has been one of the key additions for this team, John. How influential was he in this game to get the win?
Oh, Marcus Smart was huge. I mean, as was LeBron. And yes, LeBron had a ton of turnovers tonight, and those almost doomed them. But LeBron James also hit a critical 3 to tie the game in overtime. And by the way, at the end of the overtime, or at the end of regulation, and at the end of regulation, he almost hit the game winner that went down and out. I thought that was a great shot. They got a clean look. It was a turnaround 3, but still, that thing was almost all the way down. But Marcus Smart, yes, he ends up with 21 points and 10 assists tonight, and then 5 steals. And it was like he just made big play after big play, crucial rebounds, hit all his free throws when they needed it, was playing fantastic defense, hit ahead to LeBron for that 3 that ended up tying the game. I mean, just cannot say enough about Marcus Smart, who, you know, we forget that a couple of years ago, he was the defensive player of the year, and then he had some injury issues, and then he had a lost season in Memphis, and I thought his career was basically over. And when Luka goes down and Austin Reeves goes down and LeBron James is looking around thinking, I need somebody to help me out here. Well, Luke Kennard was a great shooter in the first 2 games, not a great shooter tonight, but Marcus Smart really stepped up the last game, and especially in this game late when they needed him, and then especially in overtime. They do not win this game without Marcus Smart stepping forward. And also, as you mentioned, LeBron being LeBron. Yes, he had some turnover mistakes, but still a supreme effort for him to play 45 minutes and hit those shots that were just, I mean, he almost hit the game winner as well. So, yeah, those 2 guys combined, they really buoyed the Lakers tonight for sure.
So the Lakers are now 1 game away from sweeping the Rockets, and I know everybody had that in their mind when this series began. John Gonzalez, always appreciate the insight, man. And how about this? LeBron James now with 146 playoff double-doubles. He's 11 shy of another Laker legend, Magic Johnson, who has 157. It's just unreal. 29 points, 13 rebounds, 6 dimes. Yes, we talked about the turnovers, but at 41 years old to be carrying this team the way he is, it is simply something that we'll probably never see again. Before turning 30, the others, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Kevin Durant. All of them either Hall of Famers already or future first ballot Hall of Famers. Time now to bring in CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, I'm so sorry, brother, because we know you're a Sixers fan. I was rooting for them to get it done. They flirted with the lead so many times, but in the end, Boston, they go back to what has worked for them so well over the last few years, the three-ball, timely stops on defense. Why were they able to be the more savvy team down in crunch time as opposed to what we saw from the Sixers in Game 2?
Yeah, I just want to correct the record on this. I've watched too many games for the Sixers to be a Sixers fan, just a Sixers observer at this point, because things like this happen, right? I mean, I didn't expect them to win this series, but I will give them credit for playing the Celtics harder and better and making them work more than I think any of us anticipated, because this isn't really that good a Sixers team. But the Celtics, it's muscle memory, Chris. I mean, this is what they do, right? At some point, they looked up and went, what are we doing? We've won a championship, right? We've got championship DNA. And Jason Tatum, he launches that three that really won that game for them at the end of the game. And I'm on a text chain with some Boston Celtics fans, some friends of mine, and they were saying, no, it was a classic no, 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 yes three ball. But I thought, like, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the Jays tonight, were fantastic. And on a night when, you know, the rest of the starters, Derek White eventually got into double figures, but Derek White has not been good offensively in this series. He's always a good defender, but he's given them next to nothing offensively. So on a night when, outside of like Peyton Pritchard, it was basically just the Jays out there, your best two guys in crunch time when it mattered the most, when they could have been, there's an alternate universe where this team goes down 2-1 to the Sixers and they're looking around going, well, how did that happen? Those two guys, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, won. No, we're too good for this. We're going to have a better shooting night than we had in Game 2. And they did. They shot 43% from deep. That was really the difference maker for the Celtics, but especially the Jays just decided that they were going to take that game over.
They were like, yo, we won a championship before together. What y'all talking about? It don't matter, you know, if we're in Philly or anywhere else, we are going to get the job done. Now, on the other side, okay, Tyrese Maxey, he was balling out. Paul George started out great. VJ Edgecombe, though, not his best performance, right? This rookie has shown so many flashes during the season, but do you feel like his performance kind of spelled the end of the Sixers in this game because he wasn't able to be as efficient and as successful as he was in Game 2?
Yeah, and see, that's the thing, right? I mean, like, that's where the Sixers are when you're going, man, this rookie who has exceeded all expectations, we need him to have the kind of performance that he had in Game 2 where he went absolutely nuts and he was shooting the lights out and he was challenging guys and he was playing great defense. When you need your rookie to do that in a playoff game where he went for 30 and 10 in the last game, and that he's the first rookie since Tim Duncan to do that, that's asking an awful lot, right? And tonight he went for a double-double, but he, as you mentioned, was super inefficient. He was 0 for 7 from deep, couldn't get his shot to fall. I thought it was encouraging that he kept taking them. I thought it was encouraging that he played some good defense. He got called for a goaltend that I didn't think was a goaltend on a block. You're just asking a lot there, and it's just so much for the Sixers to do. And Maxey goes for 31. You mentioned Paul George. That's a guy, I think, if we're going to single somebody out, he had 18 points and 5 assists. In the fourth quarter, he kind of disappeared a little bit. Now, Jaylen Brown was playing lockdown defense on him, and he did have a couple of nice scoop assists to Andre Drummond for dunks that kept them in the game. But Paul George got a max contract to go from the Clippers to the Sixers. Didn't look like it last year. This year ends up with a suspension. If you're looking for a guy to really raise his level and step forward, you'd think it'd be the veteran, right? 18 points, 5 assists. Okay, if you want to beat the Celtics, you're going to need a lot more than that.
Right. That's good for VJ Edgecombe, right? Because he is a rookie and the expectations are not the same and the contract isn't the same. Paul George, listen, you were in MVP conversations, right? Not too long ago. It feels like it was centuries ago, right? But there's a reason why you're getting paid why you're getting paid the way you are, and he wasn't able to give that maximum effort. Now, as the series goes to Game 4, John, are you feeling a little different about maybe the Sixers can get another game and force it to at least 6 games? Or do you think because Boston was able to win this tight one where they lost the lead at different points in time that they're going to cruise the rest of the way?
Yeah, I thought they were going to cruise in the series anyway. I had it as a sweep, and that the Sixers won a game at all is surprising, and it's super surprising that they won a game in Boston. If I was going to say they were going to win a game, steal one, maybe a gentleman's sweep, I would have anticipated it would be games 3 or 4 in Philadelphia where the crowd would be behind them, and they were tonight. So this is already kind of a little bit of a surprising situation for the Sixers where they're outplaying and overperforming this series because, without Joel Embiid, this is a really tough challenge for them, right? And even if they had Joel Embiid, Chris, I would have anticipated that this would still be a pretty easy series for the Celtics, who had a really phenomenal season, and then they get Jason Tatum back when he had missed 10 months on that Achilles injury, and a team where they're top 5 in both offense and defense, and they're second in the Eastern Conference, and you're thinking, man, they get Jason Tatum back. They're adding one of the best players in the NBA for nothing. How are the Sixers possibly going to stay in this series? So this is one of those situations where it's kind of like oddly credit to the Sixers for making the Celtics work this hard. And I think when this is over and the Celtics move on, and they're going to, that you look at it and go, all right, they didn't win, but they did better than a lot of people thought that they would. And also that backcourt of Maxey and Edgecombe, especially Edgecombe, gets his feet wet in the playoffs, figures out what it's about, has some good performances, maybe some performances that he would like to do better, like tonight, but just something to build on moving forward is, I guess, as much as you could really ask for the Sixers.
Do you expect VJ and Tyrese Maxey to be the future backcourt for the Sixers for like 5 to 10 years plus? Is that what you're envisioning when you see the product that they put on the floor?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, to the extent that there's any highlights from this season, and it's tough in a year when Joel Embiid again suffers not an injury, but a health issue with appendicitis right before the postseason, and you're thinking, well, he could be healthy. What would that look like in the postseason? That's never going to happen. And again, Paul George just really hasn't been the max money guy that they anticipated that he would be. Better season this year, for sure, than he had last year, but still not the guy that you really thought could maybe elevate you into an Eastern Conference contender. Those two guys, though, in the backcourt, Maxey and Edgecombe, on the same timeline, essentially, age-wise. They're both super dynamic. Edgecombe really has exceeded all of my expectations this season. I think it might have been Al Harrington who was saying that, like, he kind of has a little Russell Westbrook in him, and that he's fearless, right? And you love that about him, and he plays defense. So yes, those two guys are the bright spot, and they're not only the future, Chris, they're the present, right? Because you don't know what you're going to get out of Embiid basically ever. And the rest of the team, outside of Paul George, who you can't move because of that contract, is disposable. So yes, it's those two guys for the foreseeable future, for sure.
Yeah, and whether they win or lose, there are a lot of times where they are must-see TV with the brand of basketball that they play. And hopefully, John, the Sixers, they defy the odds and your expectations that the Celtics will sweep, or not sweep, but they'll cruise, and that they'll make this a competitive series. But I know you've had a lot of experience dealing with traumatic losses.
1982, Chris, since the last time they beat the Celtics in the playoffs. It's not happening.
Long time. John Gonzalez, always appreciate the insight, man. And how about this? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown putting themselves in great company when you think about most playoff games with 25 or more points by a duo in NBA history. They have 20